Have you ever heard the quote by Jim Rohn that says, motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. This applies to writing too. Your writing habits will determine whether or not you'll finish your book. If you've been skipping your writing schedule or putting off those precious writing sessions, it's time to make a change. In today's episode, we'll uncover why sticking to your writing schedule is so important and how creating consistent habits will help you finally finish the book you've been dreaming about. Let's dive in. Ready to write your first book and make an impact? Do you wish you could organize your book ideas without feeling overwhelmed and actually find the time to write and finish your book? Hey, I'm Donna Cherie, a book writing coach and author. Welcome to Book Writing Made Simple. Inside this podcast, I'll teach you how to get a clear vision for your book idea, get organized, keep it simple, and develop a writing plan so you can finally get your book out into the world. Grab a notebook and pen with your favorite cup of tea. Hey sis, welcome to Book Writing Made Simple. I'm your host, Donna Cherie. Welcome to the show. If you're new here for the first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you do not miss an episode when it comes out. And I want to say Happy New Year to you. It is the year 2025. We made it with the help of the Lord, and I know that He has great things in store for both me and you. And I hope that your year is off to a great start and that you're putting God first, and also that you are writing that book. Yes, that book that He has put in your heart to write. Let's get writing. Today, I have to share this with you because it's something that completely changed the game for me when I was writing my book. For a long time, I felt stuck waiting for inspiration to strike, but I realized that if I did not prioritize writing, it would never get done. So I turned to my Google Calendar, I started utilizing it, and I blocked off time, like 2 hours every Saturday and at least 1 hour during the week after work when I had time, and it made all the difference to actually write in my book. This intentional commitment helped me to stay consistent, and it's the reason I was able to finish my book. And I want to show you why making time to write is vital to the completion of your book. So let's get into today's episode and talk about it. When I wrote my first book, I had lots of roles and responsibilities in my life. Some of those roles included being a wife, managing a household, preparing meals, doing laundry, working a 9-to-5 job. I was also a praise dance leader at my church. I was making time for my friends and my family and so much more. And it just seemed like there wasn't much time to really carve out to write. But I could have accepted the thought that I didn't have time to write the book in my busy schedule because there were so many things that were calling for my time or things that I participated in and wanted to be involved in. But I refused because I knew that writing a book was a priority, and I also wanted to be obedient to God. That's definitely always at the top of my list, is that I want to be obedient to God, and writing that book was definitely a part of that during that time frame. And I've always loved organization. Like, I just love organization and being organized, whether that's in my room or on my desk, in my pantry, in my kitchen, the drawers, you name it. Like, since I was a little girl, I loved organization, even in a notebook. Like, I have to have it organized. I live by organization. That's just the part of my makeup and who I am and what makes me, I guess, me. So when it came to writing a book, that was no different for me. I knew I had to involve organization in order to be successful. And I knew that by having a writing schedule, it was critical if I wanted to finish the book. And I really believe that by having a writing schedule and following it is a part of the secret sauce to writing and finishing a book in less time. I've met a variety of people who are in the process of writing a book, or they're thinking about writing a book, and they don't stick to their writing schedule. Like, that's one of their woes, is that they don't have the time. They're busy, and they might write one week and then they don't write for the next week. And it's really because they haven't set aside that writing time and also stayed committed to that writing schedule that they've, written down in order to be successful. So it's taken them a whole lot longer, and the writing process feels way more dreadful than it actually is because they haven't stuck to the writing schedule. I want to tell you what my writing schedule looked like. So as I mentioned just a little bit earlier, that I wrote for at least like 2 hours on Saturdays and then at least 1 hour during the week. And then there were times actually when I had to get up early in the morning. I'm talking about early in the morning, sometimes at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, or I stayed up late to write. And I do recognize the fact that I don't have kids, living in the home. My husband's kids are adults, so they can kind of fend for themselves. I didn't have to take care of small ones. So I recognize that because, of course, there could have been some adjustments in my schedule if that were the case, but I still believe I can get the book. I could have gotten the book done if that was the case for me, but I do acknowledge that. Writing a book is for, and I want you to think about this. Writing a book is for a season. It's not for the rest of your life. It's just for a season. And how long does a season last? It lasts for a season, a few months or so. So yes, you may have to adjust your schedule to fit in writing, or you may have to stay up late or get up early to get it done. But think about this, sis. This is kingdom work. And it's not like you're going to be writing this one book for the rest of your life. And if you're working with me, we're definitely not doing that. We're not going to be writing one book for the rest of our lives. Hopefully by that point, we have written many books or moved on to a different project. So I want you to consider that. And hopefully that gives you some breakthrough and some mindset shifts to be able to understand, like, you're not writing this book for the rest of your life. It's just a season. And if you're somebody who is a scroller, if you're a scroller on social media and you've been on there and time passes for 30 minutes, because I've done this myself before too, like 30 minutes has passed, an hour, 2 hours have passed. And that's the time that you could have been writing your book. You could have been brainstorming your outline. You could have been fleshing out some ideas, mapping some things out, rather than wasting time doom scrolling on social media. So you do have time in your schedule. You just need to carve out how much time that is for you and what that looks like. And in order to help get a writing schedule, there are some things that we're going to talk about today that you should consider, and hopefully that will definitely help you get that writing schedule and actually get you writing and following your schedule. So one is the habit of writing. And what a writing schedule does, it helps you to keep the habit of writing. Because once you get out of the habit of writing, so say for instance, if you wrote for 1 week and then you skip the next 2 weeks, or you skip the next 3 weeks, it's hard to continue with the habit of writing. So having your writing schedule in which you're blocking out time every single week is going to be beneficial for you. It's going to help you to stay in the flow and also that writing creativity. If you stick to your writing schedule, you will feel way more accomplished than from skipping it, as it's only going to delay your progress. It really is. And it's going to feel like you're writing a book for the rest of your life. And we don't want that. So having a writing schedule definitely helps you with developing a writing habit. And all of us, we're busy. We're very busy people. There's things that call for our attention every single day. And all of our lives are set up in different ways. And we all get the same amount of time, which is 24 hours in a day, to be able to achieve, our top priorities. We might not be able to achieve everything in one day. As they say, Rome was not built in a day, and neither will your book be written in a day. But you have to set aside that time in your schedule. And some of the excuses, because that's really what they are. I know there are some realities and there are some situations that occur, and I consider that, but you have some time. I'm sure you could find some time in your schedule. If this is what you desire to do for this season in your life and what God is calling you to do, there's time and he'll give you the grace to do it. So some of the excuses though that we do often say that keeps us, from skipping our writing schedule is the fact we say that there's, we don't have the time. There's a lack of time. I have to do this. I have to do that. Da 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 da. There's times when we're feeling uninspired, or we get into this state of perfectionism, like we just want everything to be so perfect, and that perfectionism can turn into procrastination, and that keeps us away from skipping our writing schedule. And these excuses really keep us stuck. It keeps us stuck in on that, what do you call it? Oh, on the hamster wheel. It keeps us on the hamster wheel. And the more you put something off, the more it tends to fall to the back of your mind. And eventually it doesn't get done. It just keeps going to the bottom of the list. And if that's been like that for you pertaining to your writing schedule, put it back at the top of the list and actually write and follow your writing schedule. And because when you do this, when you put something off and it falls down to the bottom of your list or falls to the back of your mind and eventually you don't get it done, it becomes a cycle of procrastination, and excuse after excuse tends to take over because so much time has passed by. Definitely guilty. I have been there. So some steps to build a writing schedule that can work for you. If of course, pull out your piece of paper, or your notes app, and be sure to take notes on this, because I really do believe that this is going to help you to build your writing schedule and also help you to stick to it. One of those things is to identify the pockets of time where you can write. Review your schedule, like what's already on your calendar. What are your non-negotiables of what you have to do? If there's activities or events going on in your life, the way things are set up, okay, put those on your calendar. Utilize your calendar, whether that is digital or a paper calendar. Use it and put those things on there. And then after you have done that, after you have identified your events and activities and you see them at a glance, then you can begin to see where you have pockets of time. So if you work a 9 to 5 and you get a 30-minute, 45-hour lunch break, can you carve out some time during your lunch break for your writing schedule and to write? Is that something you can do? Or if you have a little bit of time, 30 minutes after work, after you decompress or before you go to bed, is there some time there to be able to write? Or do you have some time on a weekend or Sunday or Saturday to where, you're not out and about to be able to write? I'm sure there is some kind of pocket of time, just a pocket of time in which you're able to write. And what does that look like for you? Is that 30 minutes? Is that 1 hour, 2 hours? What can you actually commit to? I want you to write that down. What can you actually commit to as far as your writing schedule? Identify that. So, and then after that, the next thing is that it's okay to start small. Like, you don't have to start with 2 hours or 3 hours or do what I did. I was basically putting in at least 3 hours a week. But you can start small. So commit to 15 to 30 minutes twice a week. And I know some writing coaches suggest writing daily, but if that's not a reality for you, if that is not a realistic commitment, then don't do it. But identify the pockets of time that you have available in your schedule and what your life is made up of, and keep it simple. Keep it manageable for you. What can you actually manage rather than trying to set aside 5 hours or 6 hours a week? What can you do? Can you give 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or even if you split up that hour into 30-minute increments over the week, or if you split it up into 4 increments for 15 minutes each week. But stay and create that writing schedule so that you can actually finish the book. The next step that will help you with your writing schedule is to pick a consistent time and place to write. So, what do I mean by that? For me, I wrote every Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. in my guest bedroom. And then sometimes I sat outside on my deck with my computer facing the lake, just typing away. So, what is that place for you, and what is that time for you in which you could write? Where are you going to write? And then what time is that going to be? Is that going to be early in the morning? Is it going to be late at night? Is it going to be during your lunch break or early afternoon? Identify that time and then be consistent with that time and place to which you write, so that when you sit down at that place and at that time, you know it's writing time and nothing should be able to interfere with that. Put on your do not disturb on your phone. Put your phone away. Put it in the next room, or anything that's going to distract you. Put it aside so that you can actually be consistent in your writing schedule, because you have begun to get into the habit of identifying a place and time in which you write, and that's going to help you as well. The next thing is that you can use tools like timers or planners to stay accountable. Again, put that time that you have allotted for that time in which you said that you're going to write, put it on your calendar so that you won't be disturbed during that time, and you can honor the commitment that you set for yourself. You can hold yourself accountable. You put it on your calendar, put it in your planner. You can set a reminder on your phone, and that is also going to help reinforce that it's time for you to be writing if you utilize those tools. And then the next thing, after you've done all that, then stick to it. Stick to the plan that you created and these steps that you have for your writing plan, and go forward. Put your head down, do the work, and don't look up until it's finished. Don't look up until it's done. Don't chase after shiny objects, and just stick to your writing schedule. Create your writing schedule and then stick to it. So those are some steps that will really help you to build a writing schedule that works for you, and which helps to keep you on track and keeps it manageable for you. Also, the power of just showing up, being able to show up for yourself, is so important. And it helps you not only just to write books, but also to show up for other things that you desire to do in your life, or that God has called you to do. And by having this writing schedule and being consistent, really just helps you to develop that writing habit, and also that creative flow, that creativity, and being able to receive the downloads from Holy Spirit to guide you throughout this writing process. It's better to show up than to not show up when you write down your writing schedule. And definitely consistency outweighs perfection. There's a saying, done is better than perfect. And that is so true. You don't have to worry about your writing being perfect. Like, that is what an editor is for. You just need to focus on writing. And of course, with your outline and your book planning worksheet and all of that. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to show up and be consistent. Consistency gets way more results than perfectionism. Consistency gets way more results than perfectionism. So develop that writing habit, your writing schedule, and stay consistent with it until it's done. And while you're on this writing journey, while you're committed to writing your book, be sure that you celebrate the small wins so that you can build the momentum, so that you can keep going. If you can reward yourself for writing 500 words this week, if you stuck to your writing schedule and you wrote 500 words, come on, that's like 2 sheets, two pages. That's great. Honor that and reward yourself. And you can reward yourself in simple ways, such as light a candle and sit back in your recliner for 30 minutes if you want to, or go use that coupon you received in your email from your favorite store, or just get out and get some fresh air. Even just celebrating your small wins during your writing process helps you to continue on and stick to your writing schedule. So just to recap, some of the steps that will help you build a writing schedule that works is to be able to identify the pockets of time where you can write. So review your schedule and what can you commit to? What time can you commit to in your schedule? And then start small. Commit to 15 to 30 minutes twice a week. Then be sure to pick a consistent time and place to write that works for you, and utilize tools such as a timer or a planner to help you stay accountable, or have an accountability partner. And also be sure to put it on your calendar. You can set the reminders on your phone. And then, of course, stick to it and build that consistency muscle so that you can actually finish your book. I hope that this episode today has blessed you and that it has helped you to, if you haven't already, develop a writing schedule. And if you do have a writing schedule, to go back to it and to stick to it. Maybe make some minor adjustments and then be committed to that process. If this episode has resonated with you, be sure, I have something so exciting to share. Be sure to become a Book Writing Made Simple Insider. By becoming an insider, you'll get weekly book writing and self-publishing tips personally from me. You can head on over to bit.ly/BWMS Insider. That's bit.ly/BWMS Insider. Be sure to become an insider. And like I said, you'll get book writing and self-publishing tips weekly. Your book deserves to be written and the world is waiting for your story, sis. So get to it, get back to that writing schedule, and I'll be praying for you. Until next time, ciao. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's episode inspired you to take that next step to write your book. Remember, small steps lead to big results. If this podcast has blessed you in some way, be sure to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. Your support means the world to me, and it helps others to find the show. Also, be sure to pass on the inspiration by sharing this episode with a friend who could benefit from this message. God bless you, sis, and never, ever give up.